Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Zach Attack Reviews. Today I'm going to be doing a spoiler review of Season 1 of Hawkeye, where we saw Clint Barton and Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop meet up. She's idolized Hawkeye since she was a little child. Apparently he's basically saved her life when she was a little kid, and ever since then she's looked up to him, and they finally get to meet. And in this series, they go on basically an adventure together where he's reluctant to take her as basically his protege, but while her family gets mixed up into the mob boss, we get some new characters introduced that are really interesting. And I just want to start off talking about what I really liked about this season. I'm gonna start off with the good. As a fan of Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run, which this show is so severely based off of, the promotional material looks very similar, the art style they use in the intro looks very similar, and obviously that's where Kate Bishop was introduced, and the relationship between Clint Barton's Hawkeye and Kate Bishop Hawkeye was blossom and them arguing. And I feel like Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld captured that chemistry right off the bat. I think that these two work really well together, and Haley Steinfeld has been fan casted as Kate Bishop for years now, and this is the first time we've actually got someone that we wanted as a character, and she knocked it out of the park. The wit, the humor, the earnestness, the heart that she had. Yeah, she was like the little annoying teen sister, but you could tell that she wants to do good. And she's one of those people that's in this show, she's privileged, she's rich, she can get whatever she wants, she can get in trouble and get out of it because of who her family is, but she still wants to do what's right, and that's because she looks up to Jeremy Renner's Clint Barton, and that dynamic was really great. He was like this old grumpy man who's tired of being a superhero. He just wants to spend Christmas with his family, which obviously rightfully so. He saved the world fighting Thanos, but he gets dragged back into fighting again because the Ronin outfit, the one we saw in Endgame when he was murdering like criminals across the globe, it seemed like, pops back up. And Kate Bishop, she's the one that's wearing the suit, not knowing what that suit means, and it brings unwanted attention to her. So we get to see him deal with his past and what he used to do before Natasha brought him out of that life, and how it now is affecting the present and how it can affect the future. So one thing that I really liked was the way, just Jeremy Renner's performance in general. He was very nonchalant a lot of times, but it seems like he's just seen everything. That's where I got from him. He's just seen everything. He fought aliens, so regular street thugs is nothing to him. He never looks too concerned. But it's the only parts where you see emotional parts from Clint Barton is when he is having kind of this PTSD moment with what happened with Natasha, her death. He's still struggling with the fact that she sacrificed herself for him. He wanted to be the one, and he's trying to see if he deserves to even be alive. And that exploration of that was really great. But it coincides with Kate Bishop finally meeting her idol, the man that basically saved her life during the events of the Avengers, the first movie, and she's been, looking up to him that whole time, and now she's meeting him and seeing that he doesn't even feel he's not seeing himself the way she sees him. So in this show, she's basically propping him up, telling him like, no, you inspire people. You're not just the Arrow guy in the Avengers. There are people like me or regular feel like they could be heroes because of you. And that dynamic was great. All the training sessions that they had, all the back and forth. The show is worth watching just to see those alone. Those are some of the best moments in the show. Them two just bonding over everything. And as Kate Bishop is getting to learn who Clint Barton is and how skilled he is, she's now being dragged into this mafia gang warfare that she didn't even know was going on, and there's a lot of mystery going around, maybe if one of her family members or somebody that's close to her family dies, and now she's trying to figure out if it's her new stepdad. And there's a lot of family drama going on while also Clint is dealing with his family drama. And so it was really interesting to see Kate Bishop deal with learning that there are consequences. It's not a pretty thing being a superhero, especially if you have no powers. A lot of times it's lonely, a lot of times a lot of loss, and through the 6 episodes you see that habit to her slowly, her getting chipped away, but her pushing through because she really wants to do this. And that effort makes Clint Barton go, you know what, maybe I should take her on the wing, because she's going to do this no matter what. It's one of those things like how Tony Stark knew Peter was going to do Spider-Man's things no matter what, so you might as protect him. It's the same thing here. He's like, I might as train her, I might as keep her safe, because if I don't, she might get killed just going off by herself. We also got introduced to a new character named Maya. Her hero name or villain name is Echo, where we're supposed to be getting a spin-off from her. She was a really interesting character because she was deaf, but she was the leader of the Tracksuit Mafia, which is a famous gang that Hawkeye fights in the comics all the time. And obviously, you know, in the comics, something like Tracksuit Mafia sounds cool, but it sounds dumb in real life, and they made sure to play on that in the show, where it was like, what? Why would they call themselves that? But she was fierce. She was very emotional when she needs to be. This is the actress's first gig, and I think she did a phenomenal job as the character, and I'm interested to see where she goes. She has a lot of backstory that they can pull from, and a lot of room for growth as well. And it's interesting to see that diversity. A hero that is deaf in the MCU, or, you know, an anti-hero, because she is the antagonist of the show for a while, and she goes through an arc of wanting to kill Ronan, not knowing that it's Clint Barton, because Ronan killed her father. But there's more than she knows going on behind that, and seeing that journey from the beginning to end was very interesting. Another thing I really liked was the archery in this show. The you know, it's Hawkeye. That's his thing, bows and arrows, and it just was really great to see all the different types of arrows. For the most part, I feel like in the MCU, he's kind of have like just basic arrows, maybe some explosions here and there, a hook shot, but he got to show his full arsenal, and all of them were so dope. Especially, he had one that was like a Hank Pym one, where he can make things bigger and smaller. It was so cool to see. That was the best action stuff that they had in the show. Everything they did with the trick arrows. And then there was like a session where he taught Kate Bishop how to make them, and all that stuff was dope. And as expected, Yelena from Black Widow, Natasha's sister, if you saw the end credit scene of Black Widow, we knew that Yelena was going to be coming after Hawkeye, because she got tipped off that he's the reason why she's dead, like he murdered her or something like that. But not knowing any further information, she interjects her within all this drama while Clint is trying to keep his family safe, keep Kate safe. Kate is trying to keep herself safe, keep her family safe. Maya is trying to kill Clint. It's just all these things coming on, and she inserts herself trying to kill Clint at the same time. So it was interesting to see her come in and then have like this budding friendship, I guess, kind of, with Kate Bishop. And it was really interesting because early in the season, she asked him what was his best shot that he took, and he said it was the best shot he never took. It was the one that when he didn't kill Natasha, when he was sent after her. We heard the story throughout the years in the MCU, and you know, he didn't kill, he gave her a chance. And it was, you know, that relationship is very powerful, we all know, between Natasha and Clint, Hawkeye and Black Widow in the comics, in the MCU. And what was great is that there was an opportunity for Kate to take the shot on Yelena, and she didn't. And I feel like it was just poetic the way they did that, and I really like that they're having this budding relationship between these two, because the chemistry between Florence Pugh and Haley Steinfeld was great. They had this very intense but hilarious interaction where Florence Pugh's Yelena was basically telling Kate Bishop, I know who you are, I know who your family is, I know everything about you, don't try anything, I'm just here to kill Clint, stay out of my way. And Florence Pugh is hilarious. She had me in knots the whole time that interaction was going on, because if you saw Black Widow, she's just hilarious, and she was like triple that in this show. But when she had to have an emotional moment or a really great action scene, she brought all that to the table as well. And it's also exciting surprises. One of the biggest things that I've been hoping is that the Netflix Marvel shows characters were going to eventually come back. Those shows got canceled because Marvel didn't want to be funding shows on another network basically anymore, and we got Kingpin coming back in the show. I was so excited to see him at the end of episode 5, even though it was like a blurry picture, and I was excited to see how he was going to be introduced, because we know that Matt Murdock's Daredevil was coming back, so I was really excited to see how those two would collide, but to also see how he collides with Hawkeye. He has a history with this character. He has a history in the comics with Maya, the other antagonist here, and he was her uncle in the show. So that was a really great surprise. I didn't expect them at all. I expected Yelena to be in here because of Black Widow, but I did not see Kingpin coming. So let me talk about the things that I didn't like. Right off the bat, all the archery stuff was great, but the hand-to-hand combat and the editing of that was not edited well. It felt like they took out pivotal scenes of the fighting that made some of the hits and some of the things feel weightless. And also there's scenes where people got beaten bad, and they just have minor scratches on them, and it just felt really weird. It felt like they spent a lot of time on the emotional moments, the exposition, all that was executed well. Like, there's a really sweet moment between Kate and Clint where Clint is now deaf in the ear, and his hearing aid broke, and she had to like basically translate for him because his family called. All that was so wonderful and great. Everything, anytime it was a quiet moment, it was done so well. But the action scenes when people were going hand to hand was so choppy, and I didn't understand why that was happening. It was some of the worst stuff that the MCU Disney Plus shows have done in terms of just the hand-to-hand combat and the moment. All the Arrow stuff was fantastic, but that, I don't know. They needed to work that out more, and hopefully if this gets to season 2, they do. Another thing that bothers me is I feel like there was a lot of plot points, a lot of characters introduced, and a lot of interesting for each character introduced in the show. But when it finally came down to episode 6 and the conclusion, it felt rushed. This didn't feel like a show that should have been 6 episodes. It felt like it needed 2 more episodes to let things breathe and let things be impactful, to give some character growth to some of the characters. And let's have some more exciting episodes. My favorite episode of the season, episode 3, I watched the episode 3 times because I thought it was so good from beginning to end. They had this exciting action scene, even though it had some choppy editing in there that like stood out really badly. But the car chase scene, everything on the road and the bridge with the arrows and their performances was fantastic. And then at the end of the episode, we had a really great emotional moment. But it was far and few between. I feel like a lot of episodes was kind of meandering a little bit, especially the first 2, kind of like how Falcon and Winter Soldier was. And then everything just felt rushed in the last episode. And the way they treated Kingpin in this last episode, for him to get introduced for the last 3 seconds of the last episode, and for him to not really do much or get to do much in this episode, it felt weird. And the way they ended it ambiguously, did he die? Is he dead? Off screen. Obviously, he's probably not because it's off screen, but I did feel like this show should have got some more episodes. So what's my verdict? Overall, I really liked this show. I thought it was really good. When the characters have those quiet moments, the show really shines. Their personality comes out. There's some really good comedy. Some comedy doesn't land, but that's the MCU. They have comedy that's just for kids to laugh and giggle and adults to roll their eyes, and there's some of that too. But I really like Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. I think this was a great performance by Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, for him to get a little bit more character development, and his family as well. And they introduced some really interesting characters and brought in Yelena to further her character. I'm excited to see where she goes as well, and I'm hoping that they didn't kill Kingpin off in that anticlimactic way. But overall, I can give this show a C. So what do you think of season 1 of Hawkeye? What were your favorite moments from the show? Are you excited for the additions of Maya? Are you excited to see her show? They already announced the show Echo is going to be coming out, I think not next year, but the year after that. Are you excited about the additions of Kate Bishop? Are you excited to see where she goes? Most likely Young Avengers. She might lead it. That's something to look forward to. And the return of Yelena and Kingpin and where that can go. Let me know in the comments below what you think is going to happen, how you feel about the show. And I'm going to be doing, my next couple videos are going to be ranking videos. So the end of the year, Spider-Man No Way Home just came out, so I'm going to be doing my favorite Spider-Man movies, all 9 movies that's come out in the last couple years. I'm going to be doing my favorite MCU movies, because we don't have another MCU movie coming out for a long time. And I'm going to be doing my top 10 shows and top 10 movies of the year. So hit that notification bell so you can stay tuned and be notified when those videos come out. Like, subscribe, share with your friends so we can build this community, and be well. Testing 1, 2, 3. Zack Attack Reviews, Hawkeye Z. It's me, Zachary, in the place to be. Yada 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 yada. Yada 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 yada. Woo! Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Zack Attack Reviews. Thank you for that's not what I just said. Okay, intro again in 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, welcome to Zack Attack Reviews. Thank you for checking out my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a spoiler review of season 1 of Hawkeye, where Jeremy Renner's Clint Barton meets up with Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, where I'm going to be doing a spoiler review of season 1 of Hawkeye, where Jeremy Renner's Clint Barton met up with Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop, a young college student who's idolizing since she was a child. They meet up and all the wind in existence right now. That loud. In my room. And he's like, don't do this review. Shut up, Zachary. We don't care about your reviews. Let's try this again. And 3, 2, 1.